Nick did not get to hear my Aaron Rodgers conspiracy theory. In honor of Aaron's conspiracy theories, I started the show an hour ago saying the NFL does nothing by coincidence. Everything strategic. Christmas Day, take the oxygen out of the NBA. Free agent period, they extend it, hurt March Madness. This is what the college football, they're going to do games during the playoff. Nothing is nothing is random. Nothing is coincidence. They go to the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, who's become controversial. The NFL doesn't like controversy. They had it with Kaepernick. Ratings briefly went down. Aaron increasingly is controversial. The single toughest game on their schedule, San Francisco opener facing an offensive coach to open the season, Andy Reid, McVay, and Shanahan, nightmare. 3 new offensive linemen, veterans. Who doesn't? What's the one group in the league that is hardest to build chemistry? Offensive line. Aaron off an Achilles surgery against that pass rush. I think the NFL said, you know what? We got other stars. Caleb Williams, we'll give him an easy opener. Aaron, go to San Francisco. Am I nuts?
Yes, you are. So let me tell you why I disagree. So I agree that they don't do anything, accidentally, everything has forethought. It would appear from what we have seen from the schedule early, the Chiefs getting the Ravens and the Bengals immediately. Aaron Rodgers, toughest game and one of the most marquee games. Aaron going back to Northern California being immediately. That the NFL, I think maybe smartly, is saying some of these games are only marquee games because of the quarterbacks playing. So we want to front load those games because if Joe Burrow gets hurt at some point, then Chiefs-Bengals loses all of its appeal. Last year they saved it to week 16. Burrow's out. How many games did the Jets have on national TV that people then didn't care about because Aaron was out? I think maybe what you're going to see on this year's schedule is teams that are really quarterback-centric, you're going to see a lot of their bigger games early, with the belief being later in the season, the people will tune in because of playoff implications, because of storylines. Early in the season, let's make sure that these marquee quarterback matchups have the best chance of having healthy quarterbacks. That's how I'm reading it. Maybe, you're correct, but I think the NFL would love Aaron to be relevant and good since the New York Giants are in a gap year. By the way, speaking of New York football, can I give you, not a conspiracy theory, but a long-term prediction that I haven't shared, I don't think, anywhere.
Okay.
But you brought up the Jets, which made me think of the Giants. So I think it's really on the board. Daniel Jeremiah alluded to this, that Drew Lock ends up starting more games this year than Daniel Jones, that the Giants are clearly in a transition period this season.
Yeah.
I think it is on the board that Dak Prescott and Bill Belichick are a package deal next season to the New York Giants. That Bill gets to come back to the Giants, they get to steal away the Cowboys quarterback, answer that problem, and Bill, because everywhere that Bill could go, it's like, the job's open probably because they don't have a quarterback. He already went through that. I think Bill and Dak could go, and you could remake an entire organization, head coach and quarterback, a year from now with Dak Prescott, the free agent, and Bill Belichick, the head coach. And I think the New York Giants are a very viable possibility there. So just put that out there. Not really a conspiracy theory, just a long-term prediction.
So the Giants, once again, will pay a quarterback significantly more than what he's worth, and they think that's the answer to success.
That is true. That is true. I'll tell you what's not the answer to success. Drew Lock. I tell you, remember John Schneider?
Yeah.
When they signed him, they're like, he wanted to go somewhere he could compete for a starting job. Daniel Jones not the answer. Drew Lock's not the answer. Dak would be the best quarterback they've had there since when Eli was good a decade ago.
I'm going to throw this out. So generally,
sure,
Nick, there's about 10 superstars in the NBA. Superstar guys. Maybe more, but I'm talking about the real stars. And I generally like all of them except one. I pushed back on Blake Griffin. I said, I don't get it. Take the dunks out. What do I have? I push back on Melo, a low-efficiency jump shooter. I'm not sure he's in great shape, doesn't play well with others. I push back on Derrick Rose, hyper-athletic, can't shoot, scoring at the rim, unsustainable. I push back a little bit on Westbrook, although he was fun to watch, and I often said I'd pay to watch Westbrook play, but I didn't think he was a title guy. And so those are the ones that that top of my head that I push back on. I'm getting closer to that with Luka. Who?
Oh, no.
No, hold on. Who, unlike Jokic or Steph, when they don't have the ball, Jokic and Steph are incredibly valuable to teammates. Luka disappears on the TV screen. He's disengaged. It's very much, hey, if you get me a shot or I get a shot, I won't even work hard for the corner three. 92 of his 96 threes, he won't go to the corner. He don't want to put the work in. He literally is hard to find on the TV screen if he doesn't have the ball. And I don't know how you take that indifference, that selfishness, and tweak it. I can tweak your shot, your low post game. I can't tweak indifference. He's a selfish player who doesn't work without the ball. If he doesn't have it, good luck, guys. I didn't say it was there yet, but I'm getting closer to him being in that club.
All right. I think that's crazy. I also think talking about how Luka operates in a basketball game when he doesn't have the ball is like talking about how Cowherd operates on this show when he doesn't have the microphone. Like, who cares? He's always going to have it. Like, yeah, he's not working on the corner three because the ball's always in his hands. So a few Luka Doncic facts just for the record. Luka has never had home court advantage in a playoff series, has been the underdog in every playoff series he's ever played in. His first two playoff series of his career, he went up against Kawhi and or Paul George on every single possession, essentially. They were healthy in both those series. Despite that, he averaged 33 points per game. And now this year, he was a couple made free throws away from being up 3-1 en route to his second conference finals in the last 3 years. I still think the Mavs are going to win this series. Luka, I think, is having by far, not I think, I know, his roughest postseason to date. Yeah. There is no denying that. And I think yesterday was a crushing loss because they could have, they were leading that game wire to wire despite Luka having 18 and Kyrie not breaking double figures, and they could have taken a commanding lead in that series. Luka's not a perfect player. And I don't mind the yelling at the refs. I don't love the whining at the refs. And when he's playing well, he's yelling. When he's not, it's more whining. And I think it kind of pulls him down a bit. But there is no world that exists where he's not one of the 5 best players in the league. He has committed himself more on the defensive end than he had in the past. And I think right now he's in a bit of a slump. He is a great, great player who, by the way, very well might end up in the NBA Finals this year. And so I think you're selling him short a bit.
All right. So this is one of Nick's things that he does. It's probably my favorite thing he does. It's called Club Superstar. He revealed it yesterday. So Nick, it should be noted that all of us sort of lean into who we are, and Nick went to clubs, probably still does. Beautiful wife. He goes to clubs. He'll smoke cigarettes and do club things. And I don't. I go to workout clubs, do sit-ups. You're more of a club guy.
This guy is unbelievable.
Well, I mean, I literally call Nick occasionally. What are you doing? I'm driving home from playing poker all night. So that you were different people.
Yeah, that's right. Listen, we don't have to get into our personal lives. I'm sorry, Colin, that I, when I'm off the clock, I might enjoy myself a bit. I met my wife when she was promoting a club. It is a bond between us.
All right.
So yeah, we still go out occasionally. Also, as you know, even at your silly workout clubs you claim to go to, it's probably not even a workout club. It's probably like a squash club. It's you and some CFO with some hedge fund, playing paddle or something. But it doesn't matter. They are 1 in, 1 out. Yeah. You need a line out the door so people know it's popular. Right. And you can't be over capacity. So, NBA Club Superstar has a 12-person capacity. And so we had to throw out Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, and Jimmy Butler to make room for the 3 newest superstars, SGA, Anthony Edwards, and the most controversial inclusion, Jalen Brunson. Waiting in line to get in are Kyrie, Donovan, Maxey, Jamal Murray, and Wemby. And then the 9 guys who were in last year who stayed in are Tatum, Luka, Durant, Embiid, Joker, Giannis, LeBron, AD, and Steph. Now, I know you probably are ready to kick Anthony Davis out and put in I don't know who, but I'm certain that's your first guy out.
No, I actually.
But that's club superstar.
No, I agree with your picks. I really do. I think I have no problem with Brunson. Your legacy has to be to a large degree. You taught me this years ago. You said when you bang on a guy about his defense, you're like, outside of Russell, that era, 70% of the NBA is offense, not defense. And the truth is, when it comes to legacy, 70% of it's playoffs, not regular season. There's a different intensity. Brunson's a better playoff guy than a regular season guy. I have no problem with Brunson being in. So this is the club superstar.
We opened it yesterday.
Yeah.
And then the question I would have for you, Colin, before we move on, I think it's a pretty good bet that Wemby gets in next year.
Yes.
All right, and if not Wemby, someone else. So who do you think of those 12 in? Ant-Man, Giannis, LeBron, AD, Steph, Joker, Embiid, SGA, KD, Luka, Tatum, Brunson. Who do you think is the most nervous? Because, again, it's 1 in, 1 out. If Wemby comes in, someone's got to go out. Who do you think's on the bubble right now on Club Superstar?
I don't hold Embiid in the same regard the rest of the world does.
Oh, wow.
I don't.
Wow.
Oh, I hate, again, playoffs, regular season. I'm sorry.
All right. You're consistent with it. That's fair. And also, by the way, I don't know if you can see, Steph Curry is in the Cancun room, which means you didn't make the playoffs. The club does not allow you to stay in that room for consecutive years, which means if they miss the playoffs next year, Steph's out. It's just the rules of the club. It can't be a superstar miss playoffs 2 years in a row. It's just the rules.
Do you guys have a door? What do they call that when you go to a club and you pay?
Bouncers.
No, not the bouncers. What do you?
Yeah. Door charge?
Yeah.
What it costs?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's $200 a person, but you're on the list. You would get in for free.
Okay. Finally.
Yeah.
So, in my theory that they're making it a little tougher on Aaron Rodgers, brand-friendly Kansas City opens with a couple of home games. Andy Reid's great in September, even greater at home in September. And I do believe the league likes the Chiefs, thinks they're Midwest, likable coach who loves his short ribs and burgers. Mahomes stays out of it, fun-loving. What did you make of the back-to-back home games the Chiefs got?
Well, listen, I think this is the ideal start to the season for the Chiefs. And I think if I were Baltimore or Cincinnati, I'm really not happy about it. Now, listen, who they're playing and where they're playing, that is set in stone, and it's not set by the league. So they were going to get a home game against Baltimore, and they were going to get a home game against Cincinnati. Right. But putting them where they put them in the schedule, I think is massively advantageous to the Chiefs. So let's deal with them each individually. If you're Baltimore, I know we don't talk about AFC Championship game hangovers. We talk about Super Bowl hangovers. But think about it, Colin. Last year was the best season you have had for your franchise in more than a decade.
Yeah.
You win the league MVP. You have a dominant playoff game in round 2. You are hosting the Chiefs. It's your time. And now the next game you play is in their building, watching them hang the banner you thought you were going to get to hang. That is devastating. And if the Chiefs beat them, then I think that can set their season off, askew to start with. And then if you're Cincinnati, you're saying, wait a minute. Joe Burrow, we start slow every year for some reason. Well, since Joe Burrow's been here, every single year we've lost our week 2 game. Every single year we've been at or below 500 through 2 weeks. And now our most important game, not only are you putting it in week 2, but the Chiefs get extra rest. The Chiefs are going to be on a mini bye for our biggest game of the year at home. We're going to be coming off regular rest. So I think if I were Baltimore or Cincinnati, I'd be furious. If you're Kansas City, listen, let's be honest. I mean, the Chiefs probably should have been in 5 straight Super Bowls if not for, an odd quarter of football by Patrick Mahomes against these Cincinnati Bengals. They've been getting revenge on them ever since, and now they're going to become the first team ever to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. What better way to start the year than dispatching of the Ravens and the Bengals to let everyone know this year's not going to be like last year where there's real trepidation.
Right.
It's going to be smooth sailing from the beginning.
It's a pleasure to see you, Nick. I really appreciated that.
You too, buddy.
The club superstar, the Cancun room. It's a nice touch.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
well,
you.
I thought.
Nick, by the way, I'm in LA on Friday, and I'm going to crash your show. I'm coming on your show Friday, and after the show, we can go to, I don't know, Bootsy Bellows, one of your favorite LA hot spots that evening. I'm in town, buddy. Where are you? I'm going to take Cowherd out on the town. It'll be a great time.
There's an Applebee's right around the corner. Let's hit it.
Okay. All right, see.